Folks, lack of patience can cost you big time. I'll get into that in the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending September 11th, 2024. People get themselves into financial situations in all sorts of different ways. Lack of patience, it's unbelievable how many times just because of that, they weren't patient enough, they get themselves into a financial mess. I'll give you an example. There are people that are in a unique situation, and there's lots of them, where they've got money coming in from overseas. Whether they have a property overseas that is being sold or has been sold and they're getting that money, or they got family from overseas sending them money, it boils down to the same thing. They've got money coming in from overseas. And I've worked with many of these people, and they'll say, Santo, I've got so much. I don't mean 10, 20,000. I mean, I got 100,000, 200,000 coming in from overseas. I'm ready to buy a house. That's going to be my down payment, or a big chunk of my down payment. My attitude is always, that's awesome. Good for you, but let's not buy anything until the money's in your account. And they'll often push back to say, oh, no, it's guaranteed. That money's going to be here next month or in 2 months. As long as we do a closing date, after that time, I'll have the money. And out of experience, I know there's too many things that can go sideways there. So maybe we will go look at properties, maybe we'll, get more familiar with what they want and look at some properties, but we are not, my attitude is we're not putting in an offer until that money's sitting in their account. And I've seen it too many times where what was guaranteed, it'll be here next month. My family's called, they said they've already sent it, I've got the receipt, and one thing or another, something happens and that money's delayed. Could you imagine you purchased a property? These are not inexpensive property. Any property you buy today is extremely expensive. And if you're a young family, you're buying a home, you're excited, you often are using all the money you have and you're buying at the top end of your budget. And you need that overseas money to close, and it doesn't come in. Your options, very limited. If you were to qualify for a different kind of mortgage, a B lender or private mortgage to supplement, very, very costly. If you don't close, extremely costly, can financially devastate you. Wait for the money to be in your account. Just be patient. There'll be other houses. Don't worry about that. I was working, this was last year around this time. I received a call from somebody say, Santo, we're ready to buy a house. This was their first house they were going to buy, this young couple. And when we went through the financing and pre-approval, they were basing a lot of their ability to buy, their down payment, on a bonus the husband was going to get at the end of the year. The end of the year was just a few weeks away. We were in December when we were having this conversation. And I said, that's awesome. We could start looking, but we're not going to actually physically put an offer on anything until we know that bonus is in your account. No, it's guaranteed. The company's going to give, this is what everybody's talking about. Okay, so we started looking. We did not put in an offer. After New Year's, I was speaking with my clients there, and he says to me, Santo, we're so lucky we didn't buy anything. Not only did I not get the bonus, actually, there's rumors now of maybe getting laid off. The company is restructuring, something like that. Could you imagine if we would have purchased? The seller doesn't care that you're losing your job. They want you to fulfill that agreement. The banks don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your situation, but you should. You really should care about the position you put yourself into financially. We're never talking about $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 that people could, figure out. When we're talking about buying a house, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could potentially financially destroy your life. It's important you get it right. Patience is so important. Make sure your finances are in order. Making a decision based on a future event, no matter how confident you are, it still may not come through. Make sure you have everything in line before you sign on the dotted line. That rhymes. I didn't expect it to rhyme, but it rhymes. I didn't plan it that way. Make sure you have everything in line before you sign on the dotted line. It'll protect you. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link up here, another one below this video in the description. Click on that. It's a link to my calendar. Pick a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, this show is about average sold prices for detached properties in Mississauga, Brampton, and in Durham region. Durham, we're using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. But at the end of the show, there'll be a link on the screen for really nice detached properties for sale. That's for sale in Kitchener. Have a look. Here we go. Here's the average sold prices for 3 months. Now, normally, Mississauga, that's way up here, normally, Mississauga has the highest average sold prices when compared to Durham and Brampton. And normally, Brampton is slightly higher than the Durham region. But for this week here, yes, Mississauga is highest, but Durham's average price is a little bit higher than the Brampton average sold price. We're going to start off with Mississauga. 25 detached properties were sold for week ending December 11th. One of those was at $2 million or more. I've got an arrow showing sales are trending down. Don't be alarmed. That is normal. Usually when we start the fall season, we see sales increase. And then at some point they turn around and they trend downwards towards the end of the year. And then sometime in the new year, they're going to start going up again. It's a normal cycle when it comes to sales. So 25 were sold. One of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price has actually been coming down quite a bit. It went up a bit the previous week. Sorry, it went up a bit for week ending December 11th to $1,334,000. But still, 1,334, if we look at the year, it's one of the lowest average sold prices of the whole year. 1,334 is 4% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 4% higher than where we were this time a year ago. And if we look at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, it kind of seems as of the middle of November, average price and median price trending downwards. 25 were sold, 36% sold at list price or more. Listings trending down, which is normal this time of year. Active listings, we're seeing fewer and fewer properties available for sale, but that's also normal, and it's in relation to how many are actually being bought. That is the real number to focus on. And we can see months of inventory sitting at 5 months of inventory. Overall, since the beginning of October, months of inventory has been climbing. That's for Mississauga. Let's take a closer look at Brampton. Sales look like they're trending down. For week ending December 11th, 39 detached properties were sold. One of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,107,000. Looks like sales or average sold prices, are trending down. 1,107 is 1% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price, there's really no percentage change. Those are rounded numbers, but virtually no percentage change versus last year. If we look at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, kind of looks like average price and median price trending down, although median price slightly trending down. 39 were sold, a little over a quarter, 26% sold at list price or more. Listings, fewer and fewer detached properties are being listed. Active listings also coming down. Months of inventory, a little bit higher than what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 weeks. We're sitting at 4 months of inventory. Here's Durham. Now for Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. Only detached properties, though, I'm looking at. So sales, 37 were sold. No properties sold at $2 million or more. Now, I do have the arrow pointing downwards, but it's very gradual. We went 45, 42, 32, 41, then 37. So it kind of looks overall sales are coming down, but not by that much. Average sold price is $1,122,000. Now, the previous week, for average price shot way up. However, 1122 is more in line with where we were the weeks before the previous week. 1122 is almost where we were. It's a little bit less, but rounded, it's a 0% change from where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 5% higher. 37 were sold, 35% sold at list price or more. Fewer listings, fewer active listings. Months of inventory, pretty steady at 2.1. I would say there's even an argument to say since the end of October, even though it's slight, months of inventory looks like overall it may be trending down. Here's a quick summary. Pretty much you're going to experience a balanced market depending on neighborhood, price point, because this is an average of all these areas, right? So pretty much a balanced market. In some neighborhoods, you're going to experience a buyer's market, and there could be areas where you're actually going to experience a seller's market. But I know you're thinking, but he's naming all the markets. I can't help it. That's what you're going to experience out there. However, overall, if you're averaging all these cities out, pretty much a balanced market wherever you go. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.